In September of 2016, Washington State University senior landscape architecture class visited South Park in Georgetown to host a series of community workshops to address solutions and adaptations to climate change and sea level rise. The two alternatives generated from the workshops were compiled into a final plan with two phases. Georgetown and South Park are neighborhoods of Seattle located in the Duwamish River Valley. The neighborhoods are built on an engineered floodplain. A weakness is that industrial contaminants appear in the soils and the water of the area. A strength is the tidal cycles on a daily cycle and abundant sediments that have accumulated in the landscape. This is an opportunity to cleanse the soils and protect future generations from sea level rise. Sea level rise is a threat to the riverine communities. This is 2 feet of sea level rise visualized, 4 feet and 6 feet, predicted in the next 30 years. Coupled with daily tides of over 12 feet of variation, flooding is a major threat to these communities. The 10-year plan intends to provide an alternative to the EPA cleanup plan for the Duwamish River. This plan is both financially and environmentally more sustainable than the EPA cleanup plan. How? Well, first, contaminated sediment and water from the river will be captured at high tides using floodable parks at inlets along the shoreline. Phytoremediation beds and tidal wetlands begin to clean the water. Floodable parks also serve as intake points for water from the river. After the water has been pre-treated in the tidal wetlands, it is conveyed by floodable streets and canals to be further treated. Canal streets provide the opportunity to elevate critical infrastructure such as freight routes. Conveyed water is to be treated in phytoremediation ponds that will be located at the existing South Park landfill. The biomass generated from this water treatment and phytoremediation will be used to make biofuel. Other landfill materials will also be used to generate energy from waste. Floatable parks, floatable streets to convey water, elevated freight, and the treatment plant.
The revenue generated from the creation of biofuel and other energy production at South Park Treatment Center will be used to facilitate the restoration of the Duwamish River. To adapt to sea level rise, the 30-year phase uses tidal lagoons along a super levee to create energy, collect sediment, mitigate downstream flooding, and provide wildlife habitat while protecting these communities from sea level rise. The treated sediment from the treatment center will be used along the existing waterfront of South Park in conjunction with willows and poplar trees to stabilize the sediment and gradually expand and restore the floodplain. This project works to help these communities retreat, protect, and accommodate. In order to restore historic floodplains, it is proposed to pull back the Georgetown shoreline by preventing further industrial developments in order to create room for the river. Shifting the river channel eastwards provides space on both sides of the river to create a buffer between the river and the neighborhood communities. Levees will then be constructed to protect the communities from extreme tides and sea level rise. The levee's height corresponds to the annual extreme tides with predicted sea level rise factored in. Canals and green infrastructure will also protect from inland flooding and the bathtub effect. Energy is generated using a turbine that allows water to push through the sandbar into the tidal areas. Accommodations for citizen and wildlife communities include ecosystem development, elevation of critical infrastructures, and incorporation of industries. The current industries will be accommodated through new infrastructure built into the levee. Freight access is streamlined through underground tunnels connecting to elevated freight routes, and industrial warehouses become a buttress for the levee. To accommodate wildlife, these levees use a series of tidal ecosystems to clean and diffuse contaminants of the water. Terraced floodplains create wildlife habitats that respond to the water level. Mud flats, low marshes, high marshes, transition zones, and uplands help with these ecosystems. We hope that we can soon restore these floodplains in order to retreat, protect, and accommodate for these two communities. Thank you, and have a great day.